Hope it was Power here to review the Kamen Rider Zi-O DX Neo DiEnDriver. So this is the transmission device of Kamen Rider Dien and the upgraded version of the DiEnDriver from Decade, obviously. So we got the box here actually. So we got the DiEnDriver there, Dien himself. Obviously, I do find the boxes for the Neo devices to be interesting because they're mostly obviously just the Zi-O boxes. It's just that now they're in black, which is pretty interesting. We get Kamen Rider. There we get the Kamen Rider cards of the Heisei Phase 2 secondary riders. And the bottom we get the same thing, but with the Kamen Rider cards of the Heisei Phase 1 riders. The right, we got Dien with the Neo DiEnDriver. Twice. And then the back just has a nice portrait of Dien with all the secondary riders and such, which I really appreciate overall. Bum bum. So here we have the contents of the product. We got the ride card holder. I don't know what this thing is called. We got which ride cards? It's in the 45. So we got 45 ride cards, so 5 less from Decade, but I think it's a nice variety. And the DiEnDriver itself, which I forgot to turn off. So obviously the DiEnDriver is not a driver, or it's not a belt, it's a gun. Which I appreciate because, you know, especially nowadays, we don't get stuff like this anymore. Obviously like the Neo DiEnDriver, the color scheme of this one now, instead of being mostly black with like silver and like gold, the gold is now a lot more prominent on this. However, obviously the body now is just mainly cyan, or like a dark cyan, which it's pretty interesting, but I'll admit I probably still like the original color scheme a bit more. However, you know, again, we still have the silver. We got the red paint right here. The new thing they added though is that now, to be consistent with the DiEnDriver, this actually says Dien now, so that's pretty cool. We got his rider symbol right here. We got the speakers. This is where the LEDs are going to be. Trigger button. Yeah, I think the trigger button was even like, no, not the trigger button. This portion, I think this is like the reason why I'm personally not too big on this color scheme is like they got rid of the color here because this was originally silver. I would have just at least appreciated if like they kept the black here because it feels really weird not coloring this now. But yeah, you know, a lot of nice paint in the back and such. I don't know what this section is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like screws. I'm pretty sure this was still here within the original version. The barrel, again, it's pretty sweet. This is where you're gonna load the ride cards. This is a button, obviously. This is a battery compartment. This is where you're gonna put your 2 AAAs and such. So on and off switch back here, like so. LEDs, again, the trigger button. You get one singular firing sound. Obviously the LEDs are only just red. And then when you pull this out, you still get that firing sound. And then again, I really do like how when you extend it, like this design continues and such. I think it's really smart. And you can't press this portion in. But yeah. Other than that, you know, it doesn't really do anything else unless we use cards, so let's do that. I would spin this, but because of the framing I can't, because it's just gonna So we're gonna look at this thing and the ride cards at the same time, because basically, this is just a very simple card holder. I think this is a remode of Zeranos's like ride ticket holder. I assume so because this works the same. You see these two divots on the side. You simply, you know, what's the word? You push it down? I don't know. Because it clips in like so. So you unclip it like so, and then it just kind of sits like that. And then you can take up to 21 cards. The recommended, like, here. So the recommended amount is 20. You slide it. I don't know which way you're actually supposed to slide this, because I thought you're supposed to slide it. So then the back side is this way. So then when you pull it out, you actually have the rider facing out. But apparently it's... I think this way does make sense just because if you can slide it in. Obviously it's not really anything like lining itself in, but like, you do that, close it up. I think you have to do it this way because so then the back actually like shows up and such, and also so then you can like, Kaito can like pull a card out and such. But like, I mean, like, I don't know, it's just, I think the other way makes a lot more sense just because of how he positions the card and such. Anyways, if, again, just slide the card in like so. Obviously, when you put cards in, it becomes really weighty. But this is shoving one more card in, which, tightens this entire system up, but it's possible. It's just that now it's really tight and such. But, anyways, I think this belongs on this side of the belt for, the DN buckle. Because it basically belongs here. And then you just pull your card out, which, as you can see, you can't do that and such. Obviously, you can either do it that way, or just the easier way, just simply slide it through like so. Obviously, we don't have the DN buckle with this because this is a DX toy, so we don't have a way to actually use that buckle and such. Anyways, going through the 45 ride cards, or Kamen, I don't know what they're called anymore. So obviously we got the transmission, we got the Kamen Rider card for DN, which, pretty basic and such. As you can see, it's different from Decade, but, that's just because of the fact secondary riders have this white, gray, or silver background and such, which, is pretty neat. And then right away they hand us DN complete form, which is, just the same exact thing. However, as you can see from here, DN complete is just the exact same card, just they heavily photoshopped this entire section. And I guess they moved up the picture because you don't see the collar. That's kind of funny. Anyways, we got G3. That's kind of funny. I think G3X did exist. Knight. Kaixa. Garen. Ibuki. Gattack. Obviously, I love this card. Zeranos. And then Ixa for Phase 1. So, I'm just going to bring this up right away. So, you're going to tell from this, but, so, Ixa was actually a card that originally came with the original DiEnDriver. And then Ixa might have been also, but you can clearly tell if we compare the two. You can clearly tell what's an older card and what's a newer card, because the older, like, you know, basically the older Kamen Rider cards that weren't the main riders had a darker background, and the newer ones had this brighter background. So it's really weird they didn't bother trying to fix that. Even with, like, ones like Ibuki and Gattack, so I think it's really clear that, like, I think with the original CSM DiEnDriver, they fixed it, so then they were all consistent with each other, but Kaixa and Ixa are, like, the two outliers, which is really funny. Now we got Phase 2, so here's Axel. Trying to not say Axel anymore because that's technically not correct. Birth. Meteor. Beast. Baron. What the heck? Okay, Mock. Wait, actually, I think I figured out actually why they probably actually make this darker. Because here's Spectre. I think it's because I think Ixa and I mean, I don't know now. Now it looks different, but I'm gonna assume that Ixa and Mach have a darker backgrounds because they are white. So that actually kind of makes sense. Brave, because you can tell Brave is a lot brighter. Such. Cross. I've always never really liked the inconsistencies of, like, the picture qualities of, like, because you can tell this is like Bandai promo. This is like a Bandai promo shot, and then this is like a Toei promo shot. Like, it's really obvious. Oh. And then Gates. So that's it for the secondary rider Kamen Rider cards. Because now we actually got something that we never got with Decade: Attack Rides. I don't know why I actually did that, honestly. Well, I mean, I did it with the first set, then I don't know. So, obviously, Dian's main thing is that he uses attack rides. So he comes with Neo Illusion, which they all have the same back, so I'm not going to bother showing them. Dian Neo Burst, or Blast. Dian Neo Cross Attack. All these are just Neo. Neo Barrier. Dian Neo Barrier. Dian Neo Invincible. And then our only final attack ride card, Dian. Yeah. So, that was only 36 cards? No, 26? I can't do math. Obviously, this is only half the deck, because we got another half to cover. Final forms. Final forms. So, here we got Decade Complete form, which is obviously supposed to be in this, like, which is what Dian was trying to be, but clearly not. And unlike Dian, when you compare the two, they're actually different. And I also just realized that with like, the Kamen Rider cards, I actually like the echoing, like not the echo, like the drop shadow, like blur effect they have. It's really interesting that the rest of these actually don't have it. I think that's why the pictures don't feel as like unique. Obviously, this card originally got released with the Final Form Ride card, and I think the Super Best K-Touch. But now we'll just power through all of the Final Form cards. So we got Kuga Ultimate Form. The backs are all just, they're the same. It's just now they're actually properly named that form. Agito Shining Form. Ryuki Survive. Vi's Blaster. Blade King. Armed Hibiki. Kabuto Hyper. Deno Liner. Thankfully. Kiva Emperor. Double Extreme. O's Putotiro. Forest Cosmic. Wizard Infinity. Daim Kiwami. Drive Type Tridron. Ghost Mugen. X-Aid Muteki. And Build Genius. No Grand Geo because I guess they didn't want to leak that in December. Alright, so we're going to literally breeze through this because we literally are taking too much time on this. So, obviously, you transform to DN, you simply take the Kamen Rider card and you slot it into this slot like so. You will know that you put the card in when you get the, like, traditional card inserting sound. And then you simply push this forward like so. I forgot to show that in the demo. So basically just kind of like the DX driver, when you don't put it in all the way, it'll just beep out. But when you fully put it all the way through, as this carries over the card reader from the CSM, so basically when the card actually reads through the here, so you get the traditional Kamen Rider, then you get the standby, and you press trigger. So there you get the transmission of Kamen Rider DN. And that's basically all you get, because if you fire, it's just the same firing sound. So now obviously the whole other gimmick of the DN driver is that you can stack cards to each other. So if we use a attack ride, you won't get the sound of inserting the card anymore because the first card already is pressing that button down. Kind of sucks, but like, oh well. So you get attack right in the name of the attack. And then the summoning of that attack. So if we were to do Neo Blast, yeah, okay. Neo Burst is from the Deathstream driver. It's just the same thing. So with cross attack, we won't do that. So yeah, basically when you get your pile up to max, you're able to push it forward. But that kind of gets bothersome. And just simply remove the cards like so. So basically then, when we use Neo Barrier, as you can see, we get the insertion sound again. And then Neo Invincible. So yeah, they all do the same stuff. So let's just take these out. And then use the final attack ride. So we actually do get a sound, which is pretty cool. And then again, that's how you're supposed to take the card out, because it's supposed to be, because you know, again, it presses down, so then you can't actually take it out and such. And obviously, basically how this works of like reading multiple cards is obviously it's simply, you know, obviously you simply insert it, you push it out, it will say the thing, and then you just push it back in, you insert another card, do the same thing. Because basically, obviously, it's given the illusion that it's reading multiple cards, but the thing is just that they programmed all the cards to do the same thing. So, if we were to summon G3, there, we summon G3. But now, if we want to do like summon Knight, Kaixa, Garen, and then Ibuki. It's just all the same stuff. So that's how they cheese it. So we're just going to, you know, only have it by the name. That one's really weirdly calm. Zeranos. Ixa. Axel. And Birth. Meteor. Beast. And it also helps that these ones are plastic, so then you can actually flex them, because they kind of are, it's kind of necessary. Because if these were paper, this would not be good. Running out of duration, this is not good. I'm not even saying the cards anymore. Then just do this. Gates. So yeah. So one of the last things we would do is use DN complete form. So yeah, it just simply just does the same thing. Where's my DN card? Speaking of complete form, if we were to use Decade Complete, I don't know why that didn't read. So yeah, it actually does read it, but it's not a transformation, it's just a rider summon. So if we were to use, you know, Decade, we could. And I guess we'll have to show off someone, so we'll summon Blade. Ghost. Yeah, we'll just summon those two. So, obviously we can use these rider summons. And then we will use the last but not least, we will use a final attack ride and a final form ride. So here's final attack ride Ryuki. So all those are the same. And then obviously we will use this card because it was for this. So yeah, if you want all the ride cards in here, watch the demo. So with the DX Driver, we're going to separate into 3 categories: the secondary rider, or DN, secondary riders, and the final forms. So we will take care of all DN stuff. What do we do? See, I always forget how do we do this? So, Kamen Rider DN, which is canon within the novel. So pretty cool that it does the transformation for DN. Not sure if it's accurate within the novel, but complete form DN, we might as well. Again, it's weird that we don't get the transformation sound, but you would get it later. New Illusion. Yeah, it just shares that it's decades. It makes sense because he does have a card, which is a pretty common trend. So, Decade has a blast attack too. So cross attack seems to be a DN exclusive. Barrier. Neither. Invisible. And you can tell here, again, this is not up to CSM specifications, so it's not going to bring up specific, like, cards and such. Last but not least, final attack right there. Again, pretty cool that that's there. So, next up, secondary riders. So we use G3. Kamen Rider. He got genericized to Kamen Rider. However, if we use Knight, error. Kaixa. No Kamen Rider. Garen. Error. Ibuki. Kamen Rider. Attack. Zeranos. Then Ixa.
Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider.
So yeah, obviously, so obviously the four that actually made sounds within this thing were obviously programmed, or obviously pre-existent within the system before, but Knight, Garen, Gatak, Zeranos were not ever existent before this toy, so obviously they air out. That also means these 10 air out, so we're not gonna bother with these. So we'll jump to the final forms once the camera actually cools down. So, I'll see, Decade complete form.
Kamen Rider. Decay complete form.
So yeah, that probably explains as to why DN doesn't get his. Ultimate.
Kamen Rider. Kuga Ultimate form.
I think it was this toy that actually gave the final forms new announcements, because previously they were just carried from the K-Touch from the CSM.
Kamen Rider. Agito Shining form.
And I'm pretty sure all of these were extended too.
Kamen Rider. Ryuki survive.
So like, Ryuki Survive is an entire new recording, because before it was just Ryuki Survive.
Kamen Rider. Fire Blaster form. Awakening.
Jeez.
Kamen Rider. Blade King form. Evolution King.
I think Fize and Blade really work well.
Kamen Rider. Amado Hibiki.
And again, there, Armed Hibiki is an entire new recording, because before it was just Hibiki armed.
Kamen Rider. Kabuto Hyper form. Hyper Battle.
Always really like that one.
Kamen Rider. DX Rider form.
Surprised they don't have the liner form sound, but again, it's consistent with the original.
Kamen Rider. Chiba Emperor form.
I guess that's what I always say. I like that these transformation sounds are consistent with their originals.
Kamen Rider. Double Cyclone Joker Extreme.
That one's been a joy of listening to for the past 12 years.
Kamen Rider. O's Totira combo.
forgot to mention this. So Putotira is actually the only final form card to actually change its rider symbol, which is really cool. And then it kind of sucks at the same time, because some of these other riders could have really benefited from that.
Kamen Rider. For the cosmic stakes. Kamen Rider. Wizard Infinity Style. He's safe for the
I wish I was present when the Wizard driver got hacked. I was barely present in Wizard because I was told that it wasn't a good series.
Kamen Rider. Gaimu. Kiwami Arms. Kiwami Arms. Die, die, die,
So this one actually does have the sounds from Kachidoki. With Wizard, you know, because at the time, again, I was getting criticized for liking Phase 2 Heisei, so basically to like, you know, to like show that, oh yeah, I'm like you guys, I don't like Phase 2 Heisei, like Wizard, you know, was kind of like the target. I really appreciate that they, for a type Tritron, it's accurately like capitalized and such, or like properly lowercased and such. I'm happy they didn't try to capitalize the T.
Kamen Rider. Try. Type Tridron.
Again, like this one's also a really good one too.
Kamen Rider. Ghost. Mugen Damashi. Go, 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 go,
Okay, like I was gonna say, like having these ones are like it's pretty funny because obviously because of the fact this was like a year after the Evo driver, so it's just like, yeah.
Kamen Rider. Exei. Muteki Gamer. Kagayake. Kyusei no Gotoku. Ogon no Saikyou Gamer. Hyper Muteki Exei.
No maximum mighty Gashat sound, but I mean Miteki's one where I actually just kind of prefer the like the Miteki Gashat by itself, and rather than like, you know, the two conjointing. I still need this full bottle, and it's not ever getting released.
Kamen Rider. Build Genius Form. Kanzen Ketsu Battle Yaru. Build Genius. Monosuke.
So yeah, that's technically the only new sound if you compared it with the Evo driver. But yeah, let's close it up. I don't know why I'm holding it weirdly. I apologize. So let's just put this at the door. Just up the wall. Just whatever. My thoughts overall on the Neo DiEnDriver, pretty solid. It's not as functional as the Deca driver, obviously, because obviously all the sounds are basically under 3 sound sets: transformation, summoning, or finisher. But I mean, like, this thing can read cards. Like, I think that's how. I think that's just kind of the low standard I have for the DiEnDriver. Just because, like, obviously, the previous deluxe DiEnDriver didn't have a card reader. It only read 4 card. It only like had like a pattern of 4. So like yes, I know the CSM was technically for this one, but like technically for this one, comparing itself to the original version is a superior upgrade. Like this thing can read cards, and honestly, this thing does the exact same about the same exact same stuff as the CSM version, so you're not really missing out on much. And like again, card wise, you get a nice variety of DN cards, you get a nice variety of secondary rider cards, like because Zi-O actually forced DN to actually be a tribute to the secondary riders, and we get the final form cards, which honestly, yeah, I think we were expecting them after people started hacking it, but like, it's really cool that we got the final form cards. And this toy was pretty good to the point that they actually brought this thing in retail and just repainted this thing back into the original color scheme. So basically, the original version, I believe, only comes with 10 cards. It comes with the Kamen Rider card for DN, and then obviously the other 8 Phase 1 Heisei Riders, and then I think it was then I think just the final form, final attack ride DN card. Just I think it was only 10 cards or 12. It might have come with the attack ride cards, but basically for that version of the DiEnDriver, which is honestly, if you can't find yourself a Neo DiEnDriver, or you just want to be consistent with your version 20 Deca driver, which you're not going to, because literally the version 20 DiEnDriver literally comes with these cards. Then you can, I think Team Rider brought over the version 20 DiEnDriver. So basically what they did with that version, like I said, they repainted this back into the original version, stripped out obviously a bunch of sounds, but I think they obviously made it compatible with the cards from the Deca driver. They just removed obviously all the phase 2 stuff. I think it can even read. I think it can literally read like all the riders that were released beforehand, so like all the Ryuki riders and such. It's just that it can't read Phase 2 Heisei. So again, because getting into like how much it costs and such, this one is actually surprisingly a lot easier to find, just because I guess not as much people want to buy this one, which I don't get why you wouldn't, because of the final form ride cards, but also just like, because I think I got this for like 60 used and such. I don't know how much you can get this for new, but 60 is at least like the minimum I got this at, just because I was like, the amount it does, and plus what these do within the Deca driver, I'm like, sure. But if you can't find this for some reason, and if you don't really care of what version you have, or if you just prefer the original one, then I suggest going for that, the version 20. Because honestly, the DiEnDriver version 20 is like the best version 20 because it's practically a new release. Because literally, after the abysmal Sengoku driver, that version 20 DiEnDriver is like, it's amazing. It really is. But yeah, that had to do with this review. This is PowerRider.